Like to say good morning to everyone this morning. We are here in Fresno, California. We are here in front of Fresno City Hall. We are getting ready to um, hold our press conference here. Please share the press conference with friends and family. We have the Fresno Police Department Homeless Task Force, which has assaulted another homeless brother here in Fresno. Uh, Everyone know me that I'm about action. I'm not about talk. Just want to show you a couple of the pictures here. This happened last week. A homeless brother here was being about 11 years ago. We had another. I'm just showing you a few pictures here of the homeless brother here. About 11 years ago, we had Fresno PD again closed fist beat up another homeless gentleman up on, I believe it was up on Bullard and Blackstone. It's kind of blurry, but you can kind of see. Now this here happened like 11 years ago. You see the homeless man is on the ground already, and you see two police officers right now, closed fists, beating him in the face. You see again the police officers here almost breaking his arm, putting it behind his back. And this homeless brother here was completely on the ground, defenseless at that moment. And so again, 11 years later, this is what we're still dealing with right here. And so I'm calling for the homeless task force to be dismantled because of this here. This behavior here is just totally, it's just out of hand, it's out of control. Right now, on my way to City Hall, I seen the homeless task force dismantling another homeless encampment. I didn't have time to stop and record or do anything to that matter. But I believe everybody kind of see what's going on. Now, understand today that we sent out press release to all of the media. I don't expect for the media to show up today, but we have our own media, and that's what I teach people is that you be your own media. You do not expect the enemy to promote what you're doing and what you're trying to do for your community. We're in a real revolution right now. We're in real high gear war right now that's going on in our community. I'm sure that the power structure instructed the media to not come and support us today. Sister, can you get those quarters over there? You need some quarters? I'm sure that the power structure, City Hall, all of them instructed them to tell the media not to come, which is normal here in Fresno because we all know that, I think it's down there on the ground somewhere in a cup, instructed them not to come. The Fresno B has willfully, honestly, continued to not print our platform in the Fresno B. I believe Ali Reed wrote a letter to the editor the other day. She dropped it off yesterday, talking about how unfair and biased the entire mayor race has been. And we have African American people coming now to represent for justice here. It seems that Fresno has written off the black people here, those of us that are progressive, and that has not sold out. So your brother here is coming today. We have put this on high alert across the country. Our folks in LA know about it, Colorado. We have folks in Atlanta. Everybody's pushing this right now. They are deliberately censoring me to be a voice for the people. And it's really sad because our ancestors paid the price through slavery for us, their children, to have an opportunity to run for office. And now we have a white power structure here in the city that decides what they're going to print and decide who's going to be the lead candidate. And it's just sad. It's just really, really sad. But, you know, regardless of what happens next week, March 3rd, we still coming strong and we coming hard. And we're not going to give up. Our ancestors didn't give up. But this is a wake-up call for Black Fresno. And not just Black Fresno, but the entire Fresno, to see what we're dealing with here. You know, how we could just take the most vulnerable people and just treat them like they're common criminals because they don't have a place to go. So I'm going to show you these pictures again. Some of you just came on. Thank you for coming on. These are some of the pictures right here again of the brother who was just assaulted by Fresno PD. And your brother is here to stand for this brother and stand for justice. I don't care if no media show up. All I care about is those of you that's on live stream now, because you are our supporters. And again, we don't expect the enemy to promote what we're doing. And that's why they have intentionally censored our campaign here to where they're not putting none of our information in the Fresno Bee, none of the TV stations. So I don't expect for them to show up. But those who know, you all right now, please share this. Now this happened 11 years ago, up, I believe on Bullard and Blackstone. You see the police officer with a closed fist. You see the homeless man defenseless. And this is the type of stuff that goes on here in Fresno day in and day out. And what's interesting is that this guy named Andrew Jans, who is a district attorney that prosecute our people, I haven't heard Andrew Jans question Dyer on anything when it comes to policy or anything about his records or anything. And I'm not talking about his personal. I'm not talking about Dyer's personal record, if he has sex with a little girl or not. I'm talking about real policy on how Dyer has ran the city in the ground for the past 25 years. Andrew Jans have not asked him one question that I see that was even worth answering, but yet the Fresno Bee and all these little organizations around here don't want me on the same stage with Dyer and Andrew Jans. So this is very orchestrated. Is very biased, is very racist, that what's going on right now. But you know what? Again, I don't expect for the enemy to promote anything when it comes to liberation and justice. So let them keep talking about, the two front runners is Dyer and Andrew Jans. Well, of course they're going to be the front runners because you're not playing with a level field. So, but it's okay because you know what? God has the last say so. That's just how I see it. And so we're going to be going live right at 11 o'clock. I don't care who's not here. We're going at 11 o'clock because I am very concerned about people being treated fair. Somebody asked me yesterday, and I was like, they said, I get this question a lot. What is one of the one reasons that you're running for mayor? What is one of the one? Just one, right? So when I started thinking about it, I said, how can I pick between environmental racism, police brutality, homelessness? I said, which one is number one? Because I can't figure out which one is number one. Because as far as I'm concerned, my side of town community is living in a cesspool, But when you look at this Dyer and Jan, they're not living in a cesspool. So how can I just pick one? It's just really a ridiculous statement to me, pick one. Just pick one. But yet everything is just so bad. We have the worstest air. We have the worst police department in the whole freaking country. We have corruption in the police department. We have dead cows being cooked each and every day here in West Fresno. We have so which one do you pick? Which one do you pick? It's just a ridiculous question to me. But you know what? We still gonna move forward. I'm gonna show you guys these pictures one more time. This is the brother here that just got beat up here the other day, really, really bad. He has a big gash right over his eye. And this is the Fresno homeless this task force that they have right now. On my way over here, I seen them dismantling another encampment. I couldn't, and so it's just Fresno is a very, very sad place right now, and there's a handful of us that's really, really trying to do the right thing. And but what was interesting, I haven't talked about this, but I'm gonna talk about this probably later on between now and election day. I've been down with pneumonia pretty bad, and really not 100% yet, but trying to get my voice back. But there was this candidate forum that they had at this church over here. I don't even know the church name, and I wasn't feeling well, but I pushed myself to go. But what was interesting was these guys, whoever put this together, had 19 questions that they wanted us to answer. 19 questions they want us to answer. And when I got to the forum, I said, she said, you all gonna sit up here? And, Andrew Jan was sitting next to me out of all people, right? And we're gonna ask you some questions. I said, you sent us 19 questions to answer for tonight. And she said, no. We're just going to ask you, I think it was 6 questions. I don't know, 6 or 7. I can't remember the number. And I said, so you're going to ask us 6 questions out of the 19? And she said, yeah. And so I was trying to get her attention. She walked off. And then I got her attention. She came back. I said, what are the 6 questions? And she said, we're not going to tell you what the 6 questions are. And I'm like, why not? Why are you not going to tell her what the 6 questions are? And so I'm sitting up here looking at all this, and I'm like, this is, all this game plan and all this stuff. Here's my point. This is why I brought this up. I've asked people in Fresno after that forum, what do they think one of the number one problems that we have in Fresno? I asked 10 people, and I think 9 out of the 10 said, we got a homeless problem. We got to fix this issue with this homeless. And I'm like, okay. So then I said to myself, how come that question wasn't one of the 6 questions at this forum? Why wasn't it one of the 6? If this homeless issue is such a problem, you have a full room of people, and that question is not asked. Well, here's why. Let me tell you why it was not asked. It was not asked because Andrew Jan knows nothing about homelessness. Nothing. He's never been. So I can't say the dude ain't been homeless because I don't really know the dude. But I will say this. I've been dealing with homeless issues for the past 20 years in Fresno. When the city first started dismantling the homeless, I was there. Then all of a sudden now, this guy pops out the sky and says, hey, I have the answer to homelessness, but I never seen you advocate for anything. So basically, you have to go to people and ask them, how do we fix the homeless piece? Very interesting, very interesting. But I'm gonna deal with that at a later date. But again, I'm gonna show you guys these pictures again right here of this homeless brother here that just recently got beat up here in Fresno really bad. He was assaulted by the Fresno Police Department. You see him there. This is another picture here. Okay, one of our people just showed up. So I want you all to watch, because I can assure you, and I could be wrong, that no media is going to show up today. But you know what? We got our own media. This is the police here hitting a homeless man 11 years ago, right here. Right there. All right, so my people are showing up, and we'll be live streaming here in a few minutes, so I'm gonna cut my phone off, and you guys can log back in probably in about 5 or 10 minutes or so, because we're going at 11 o'clock on the dot, and we've been starting on time and doing what we got to do. All right, okay, love y'all. Please share this with everyone. Like I said, we got people watching all over the country right now because they have family members here, and this is our sign right here. You see it.